Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and this is Veeam 13 full course, and this is part 29th video in this course. So in today's session we are going to cover one of the most critical steps in disaster recovery using Veeam Backup and Replication, which is performing a permanent failover. So this is the stage where the disaster recovery transition into a long-term production decision. So we will go in deep into the concept, real-world scenario, and then performing the complete hands-on lab demonstration. So let's understand step by step. So what is permanent failover? So let's first clearly understand the concept. So permanent failover is the process of finalizing a failover operation that's make a disaster recovery replica virtual machine, your new production virtual machine, permanently. So in simple word, you can say um, during failover, DRVMs are temporary, but during permanent failover, DRVMs become the official production virtual machine. So once you perform this permanent failover, basically the failover state is removed, and for the virtual machine failover state is going to be removed. Replica VMs is no longer going to be treated as a replica, and it become an independent production workload basically. So at this point there is no dependency on the original VMs or a primary VMs going to be anymore. So now let's understand when do we use the permanent failover. So permanent failover is not something you can you can go ahead and perform casually. It's a business decision basically, and not just a technical step. So when you use a permanent failover, basically let's say the primary site is completely lost or damaged, recovery of original infrastructure is not possible in short time, and business need immediate stability, and your decision you decide basically continue operation from DR side for the longer term. So this is typically done in the major disaster scenarios, so which we will discuss in next slide. So let's basically take a practical example. Imagine an organization where the primary data center is impacted by disaster such as fire disaster, flood damage, or hardware theft, or a major corruption. So even after performing an unplanned failover, rebuilding these primary data center could not be. It's basically not going to be easy, and it can take days or even weeks. Now, running a temporary failover state in such a long duration is risky and unstable for your production infrastructure. So in this situation, the organization perform permanent failover and continue operations smoothly from the DR side as the new production environment. So key objective for this, the main objective of permanent failover is basically you can understand, stabilize the production environment, remove dependency on the failed primary site, and convert DR infrastructure into full active production site. So these are the some scenarios where you should use basically a permanent failover, and what are the basically key objective when you perform a failover. So make sure you consider these scenario whenever you plan to do a permanent failover in your environment. So now let's discuss about some business benefit, critical consideration before we begin with the hands-on lab. So business benefit, basically when implemented correctly, permanent failover provides long-term business continuity, zero dependency on the failed infrastructure, faster decision making during the crisis, and stable and predictable operation, and no temporary recovery state basically. So organization that plan this properly can survive even a major disaster without any shutdown operation in the primary data center or the secondary data center. Critical consideration before performing this, before you perform a permanent failover, you must validate a few things, such as ensure your primary site cannot be recovered quickly, verify the DR infrastructure has enough compute and storage capacity to cater the primary data center requirement for coming days, whatever you want to for the whatever duration you want to run from the DR as a primary site, and take proper business approval, because this is not only some technical stuff, you can do it and go and revert it. So this is a business decision, so you should have a proper business approvals, and take backup on DR VMs if required. So because once you commit permanent failover, you cannot revert back using a simple failback process. So this is not a point of no point where there is no easy return is going to be available for you. So now this is my demo environment which we are using throughout this course. So my Active Directory DNS server, and then we got our Veeam Backup and Replication server, and then one vCenter server and two ESXi hosts, one ESXi host in primary data center, one ESXi host in secondary data center. So now what we wanted to do in this video, so our primary site which is protected as of now, and by using the Veeam Backup and Replication and all the Veeam Backup and Replication, basically replicating the virtual machine here, and we created a failover plan in last video. So now in this video, basically create a plan, validate the plan, start the failover, power on the VMs on the DR side, configure the network and IP setting, start application and services, and plan completed. So this is what we wanted to do, and this is going to be our failover direction. And once this failover is completed, we are going to basically do a permanent failover. So let me show you. So what are the steps? So let me first show you my domain controller. So this is my Active Directory and DNS server. You can see here Active Directory and DNS, and if I go here, you should be able to see I got two data centers. So LHO DC, LHO DR, and in production side we got one ESXi host with the 4 virtual machine, and at the DR we got one ESXi host, and all 3 virtual machines are replicating through Veeam Backup and Replication. So let me show you that also. So this is the replication job. You can see all the 4 virtual machine which we have configured is replicating from primary to secondary. So let me show you. So VM replication to DR, 4 VM replication job from DC to DR, and if I show you, these are the virtual machine, and this is my 52 is my destination. So you can see the last replication was done 12 minutes back. So this is good. Now if I show you, these are the machine which is replicated by this job name, and we have a status ready, and we got 4 restore point for each virtual machine. And now if I go to failover plan, you can see here this is the same failover plan which we have created in last video to automate the failover. So if you want to see how to create, you can go and watch last video where we have created this plan. So this is the step-by-step process. So open Veeam console, go to replicas, and you should be able to see the current failover state. So the virtual machine is ready, and identify the failover VMs and look for the failover state. So as of now my VMs are not failed over, so let me go ahead and run this plan to start the failover. So if I go and click on start, so now what this will do, this will master DR failover plan. So this is going to basically perform a failover for all my 4 virtual machine, and these virtual machines are going to be live from here. So let me shut down my primary data center, make sure we got some disaster where my ESXi host is completely down and it's no more longer live. So now this is no more longer on the network. So now you can see here we got our infrastructure down. So in some time it will show you the infrastructure is down, and now you can see I have initiated. Once the infrastructure is down in the primary data center, you can go ahead and you make sure you are not be able to basically recover it, and you have these scenarios basically such as primary data center is affected by fire, disaster, flood damage, or hardware theft, or major corruption. Basically your primary data center is no more available. So now it will take some time to detect the host is down. So let it be. And now here you can see the process has started, and it's reapplying the IP address. Here you can see validate VM, and this is the perform failover for state. Then this is the last snapshot, or you can say the restore point which we have, and then you can revert VM to restore point. So applying IP address configuration and powering on the VM. So Now it should power on your VM. So now you can see the VMs are getting powered on. So this is happening based on our decision which we have created. So first it will power on the DC, and then SQL, and then VM1, and then VM2. So it is going to follow that sequence to power on the virtual machine one by one. So now you can see the virtual machines are getting powered on, and primary data center host is no more responding. So now we are down, basically completely down, and we have taken approval from our management to basically switch over the to execute the failover, and now we are doing the failover to our DR for all our workload. So you can see here successfully VM failed over to the state as less than this, successful. So this virtual machine is now failed over, and SQL is also done. So now it should do this machine. So you can see reverting snapshot, and it will take some time to get all 4 virtual machine powered on at the DR side, and then it will show you the master failover plan is successfully executed. So this is good. Now if I go to ready, you should be able to see here ready status gone for 3 virtual machine. Only 1 virtual machine is here which is showing as a processing, and now if you see here, these virtual machine are showing as a failed over. So this is what we wanted to check here. So make sure your virtual machine status is failover, then only you will get the permanent failover button. So let's wait for this and make sure all our virtual machine has failed over. So I think this is something else. So you can see here, I think VM2 is it left. Yes, VM2 is only left to get the powered on. So now rest 3 machines are powered on, and if you see here, this is basically performing power on for this virtual machine. So here you can see DC2 was restarted and wait for next VM for 0 second, and then it started the SQL server and then wait for 120 minutes for VM01, and then 90 seconds for VM02. So this was the sequence which was defined in our master DR failover plan. So now it seems to be everything good. So it will wait for only VM02 now. Just everything is done, I guess. So here now you can see VM02 is powered on, and you can see these machines are now live with the IP address as per DR network strategy. So in DC we got 192.168.168.0, and here we got 169. So we got our virtual machine live migrated with the required IP, and now you can see the DR is execution is successful, and we got all our machines successfully ready with the which is running in the failover state now. So all our virtual machine is validated. So now basically you should go ahead and validate your virtual machine. If once all virtual machine is good, you can right click and select the permanent failover, and this is what we are going to do. So now I'll go here, and these are my virtual machines. So I'll select all, or you can do one by one also. So I'll go ahead and select all, right click, and here you will see the option permanent failover. So now I'll perform this. So proceed with the permanent failover. I'll click on yes. So now it's going to execute the permanent failover task basically. Now you can see the status is changed to processing, and if we go to running, you should be able to see here failover task. So permanent failover task is running, session type, and if I click on any of these tasks, you should be able to see what is happening at the backend. So starting the permanent failover for this virtual machine. So this is the permanent basically parameters. So it took the latest snapshot, and now you can see starting the failover. So now you can see permanent failover is successful for all 4 virtual machines. Now if I go here, you should be able to see basically it took approx how much time, less than approx 2 minutes to get the permanent failover done for all these virtual machines. So now if you see here, this is what is done. So all 4 virtual machines is now failed over to successfully to basically to DR. And now this is the confirmation window. It may ask you to provide a confirmation. This will inform you that failover will be committed and um, replica will become a production VM and failover state will be removed. So click yes. So now if you see here, we don't have any replica status now for the virtual machine. So replica status is removed and we are not able to see the failover state even. So now process execution. So what it will do, VM will remove the failover checkpoints and break replication link with the original VMs, mark VM as a regular production virtual machine. This operation usually quick since VMs is already running. So now if I show you, we don't have any replication, and if you see here, this job is still there, but the if I go to snapshots for these virtual machine, let me show you. So snapshots for these virtual machine are deleted, so there is no snapshot for these virtual machine because these are now marked as a production, and all the snapshot which was created by replica for specific checkpoints and snapshots, basically restore point, those are deleted, and permanent failover is successfully completed without any error. And now you can go to replica and you will notice VM is no longer in failover state. It's no longer treated as a replica, and it's now normal virtual machine in a DR infrastructure. So this is what you do. So what after the failover is done? So now we have successfully migrated, or you can say failed over our virtual machine from DC to DR with the permanent failover. And now we are considering this is our primary data center and a permanent place to run these virtual machine. And now what is the next task basically? So if you do perform a failover permanent, important behavior after permanent failover, so replica relation is removed, original VM is no more longer linked, and future backup and replication must need to be reconfigured. So what next? After you stabilize, you need to rebuild the primary data center, configure new replication from DR to primary, and establish a new DR strategy. This is essential because to resolve your DR direction. And there are some tips also. So always document failover decision, maintain updated DR plan, and test permanent failover in non-production environment. Ensure your DR site has enough compute and storage capacity, and reconfigure backup jobs after permanent failover. So now if you have any job which is sitting and taking backup of your primary data center that is broken and it will not work, so you need to create new backup jobs, you need to create new replication job, and everything whatever you need to protect your DR backups basically. So that's it for this video. So now you are clear, you have a clear understanding how to perform a permanent failover in Veeam backup and replication, and when to use the in the real world scenario. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe me for more videos, and if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me on my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.